Hi, my name is Lynn Sullivan, and I have been working with tools for a long time now. I used to work at a store called Smith & Hawken, which is a garden store used to be at Rookwood. And one of the things that I did while I was there was I cleaned and sharpened tools for customers. So it was something that actually everybody in the staff knew how to do, which was kind of cool. And everybody, when I would sharpen the tools, I would be out on the sales floor and people would always just kind of gather around and watch and ask questions. So hopefully in this series of videos, we'll be able to answer some of those questions that you have and also show you how to clean and sharpen Felcos or other basic pruning shears. So the first thing I always take off the spring. I need to take this guy off first. So I've got two little pieces here, and then this guy. This piece here can also be taken off. If it moves easily, I wouldn't bother taking it off. Unless there's like a whole bunch of dirt or grease or something underneath there, I wouldn't worry about that part. I'll go ahead and clean everything and then I'll reassemble it. This is a before to see what it looks like. And then the nice thing about this is push it out either side, and then you can hold on to the card so you don't get your hands all grubby. And then you just rub it back and forth. This didn't have a lot of grubby on it, but then I can also get it off of this side here. And then just wipe it off. And then you can see the difference in how shiny it is now. Okay, so this is all clean. And then next I'm gonna do the blade, wipe off the grease. The grease is on here just to make it move smoothly. Now you have two sides on the blade. The back is a flat side, the front is the beveled side. And when I'm doing this, it's on the flat side. So basically what I'm doing is just reflattening it, getting off some of the goop, and then again, using the sanding block, and much cleaner on that side. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and use the sanding block on the beveled side too, to get, basically this is residual plant sap. So we want to get all that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow along the same bevel along the bottom here. If you don't have a sanding block like this, you can use this. And this, you just kind of go along like this. And actually that's pretty good. If I were to do it on this, just kind of follow along and go back and forth. I test it on my hand like this just to make sure that everything seems to be sharp. But what you can do is when you get everything reassembled, you can just kind of sneak up on an unsuspecting plant in your house and cut and see how it does. And if it needs to be sharpened a little bit more, you can just grab this. Okay, so for reassembly, this is just kind of, it's called 3-in-1 motor oil. You can also use sewing machine oil, and this can be put like in the little hole that this guy goes in, or this guy, just to keep it loosened. And you know, you can just kind of peek in there. Is there any rust? I'm just going to put a little drop with air and just kind of let it soak in. If you're doing this at the end of the season and you want to make sure that especially if you keep these out in the garage or in a shed, you can spray some of this on, and what it does is it helps the blade not rust over the winter. The other thing I have, one of my favorite tools, is this clip, because it can get into these little spaces in the blade and get out any of the residue from this. Let me finish kind of wiping everything off here. Okay, time to reassemble. So I'm starting with this piece. I'm going to put my bolt in there. I use white lithium grease. You can also use like a petroleum grease. Either way is fine. What this is doing is keeping the tool moving. So I've got this. Next, I'm aligning these little knobs here with the ones in the blade. Then I'm going to take this and put it on top. Okay, get that down. This goes on next. This is what catches this to keep them shut so they don't pop open in your pocket. I'm gonna put this on. Now this determines how hard or difficult it is to open these. So if you over tighten it, it's going to be really difficult. If you don't tighten it enough, it's going to be loose and the plant's going to get caught in there and not completely sever the stem. So find out what works for you. If it's a little off, then you know that this is the spot to change that. So if you buy a Felco, it comes with a little gadget that will help you put this thing on and this thing on. I'm listening to how it sounds, and it's making a sound like it's a pair of scissors. So to me, that means that these are close enough together that they're going to cut really well. And then just put that on. And then when you close it up, that's how you lock it. So that is cleaning and sharpening a Felco.